especially for dance, but for this, it's not that big of a deal. If you have a hard time with how big of a sponge is under your eyes, you can get little ones. They have teeny tiny ones if you want, if that helps you, or you can like just squeeze it really small to do this part, or you can even use a brush or your fingers or whatever. I just find it easier to use one of these little sponges, or you can use like the Halloween sponges, the little white, little triangle ones. That works too. Doesn't have to be super fancy. Okay, go to over for me. I'm gonna do under her eyes. Okay. I'm gonna use a concealer on her so that you guys have a different variation, but you can just stop here, but I'm gonna use a concealer. I have brands on there. I think I have one in here actually, both of them. e.l.f. Camo Concealer, it looks like this. Maybelline Fit Me, great concealers. This is, I think, Too Faced. It's not very cheap, but this is. Okay, and you don't need a lot for concealer. I just do a little bit here on the nose, and anywhere if you have like blemishes, like there's one right there. I won't pick out your face, but if you have any little blemishes anywhere, good to do. Okay. I'm just gonna blend this in. This is also gonna help clean up that line if it's not super sharp either. Probably blend down into your neck just a little bit. Don't do like the whole thing unless for some reason you want to be super dark or something, like not your natural skin color, then go for it. But, or I don't know if we do, Terry, do they do spray tans at all for Gem State?
Yes.
That's something to consider if you want, if you do spray tans like on your own, like if you do like an at-home mousse or something that's a self-tanner, or if you do spray tans for competitions, keep that in mind. You might need to go a few shades darker. Otherwise, you'll have a really light face.
Last time we did. Well, we tried. We forgot to get like a mitt with it, so we had to use our hands.
Oh no.
And that did not end.
Well, I had a.
The cotton swabs don't work either.
You need a mitt. Yeah.
Or
You need a
even
mitt.
just a
glove.
Yeah, rubber glove works.
Okay. So I'm going to show you guys a cream contour if you want to learn my favorite cream contour. In case you're wondering, it's Huda Beauty. It's expensive, but it's good. Okay, looks like this. A cheap one. Ooh, let's see, I haven't used one in a while. Yes, pretty much everywhere you can find a cream contour. You just kind of might have to do research and look at reviews and stuff like that. Everyone's skin's different. YouTube it, something. I didn't bring a little brush to do it, so I'm gonna use this one. Okay, for cream contour, it's gonna be the same step as bronzer, and I'll show you the bronzer after in case you just wanna do powder, because this is a little more fancy. But, so you're gonna go from the top of the ear. People like to go in the middle, don't do it, because it's gonna, how do I explain it? It makes your cheekbones look lower, and it's just awkward. That's not where the natural jawbone is in the face. So we're gonna go up at the top of the ear, and we're gonna go down and do like an angled, and we got these little baby hairs. This is not a contour brush, but we're gonna make it work. Okay, and it's gonna lift up these cheekbones and make them nice and flawless. Go ahead and turn this way for me. Okay, and even if you're super, super skinny like her, I still go underneath the jaw, and it goes back to kind of behind the ear. This is just gonna kind of chisel your face, especially in dance if you want, like on the floor, it's gonna definitely show up more. But I do this with bronzer too. This is just the cream contour. For me, because I got some of this going on, I'll go below a little bit further too. And then up on the forehead, just like the hairline, we don't want to go all the way down because we don't want to change the color of her face too much. This is just a sculpt. And we're going to go down the bridge of the nose, starting at the eyebrows. Okay. So then normally I have like a fancy brush or something, but you can go in with your handy dandy sponge and use this too. And you want to dab, you don't want to do strokes because it's not going to blend as good. And then if for some reason it's not as like clean, or like, for example, some of the bronzer went down the center of her nose where I didn't want it, you can use the other side of the sponge or just get more product on it with the concealer or foundation to kind of clean up those little edges. With dance, it doesn't have to be super blended because you are on the floor further away from people. It's kind of more stage makeup. Or you can blend it super good, I don't know, it's up to you. But don't like leave a line, obviously, but. You guys are so quiet.
Tired.
Yeah, I feel you. Okay, and then this will be the same way with the powder bronzer, but I'm just gonna blend this up into the hairline because you don't want a distinguished line. That won't be good. And as I blend this, I'm gonna kind of blend it down a little bit further. And normally I would also go in with like a good moisturizer before you start, because there's a lot of product going on your face and your skin's probably used to. And that's gonna help be a good base. I didn't put any on her. Didn't even think about it till now, because your skin is a little dry. Okay, and I'm gonna go up. I'm blending this clear up behind the ear, because if you just stop here, it doesn't look as clean. This is just more of an advanced technique, but since we're right here, might as well learn it. Then I'm gonna blend down into the neck because I will bronzer her neck a little bit because this is dance. Even with everyday makeup, I do this a little bit too. Or even like prom or whatever, not necessarily every day, but. Okay, this is with the cream. So hard to do it without like standing in front of everyone. I'm gonna brush that out to you. Just takes a little bit longer. Okay, so let's say we just did foundation and you're not gonna do cream. You're gonna get a translucent powder, it talks about it on there. I have this in, this isn't the actual container it comes in, but this is, I think, RCMA. I get it on Amazon because it lasts me forever and it's like this big of a thing. I think it'll last me like a year, sometimes more, and that's using it on clients. So there's also, I think I have on there, I don't remember what brand, Morphe, NYX, those like drugstore, Maybelline, really any translucent powder. If you see that it's a translucent powder, it's probably good to use. Keep an eye on there's ones that say like photography or video, anti-flashback or whatever. Maybe to stay away from those, because if you are under lights, you're gonna look like, what are the like lights that are reflectors?
Strobe light.
The reflector lights. That's what your face is gonna look like, because it'll like show up weird under lights. So you kind of have to look at the packaging on those. Okay, I'm going to use a powder brush. You can use the big fluffy one. Okay, or you can get a smaller one like this. Whatever. It's not like a super specific brush you have to have. Okay, the reason why you need to have a setting powder, especially for dance, is we just went from like a liquid foundation, and then you're gonna be dancing and sweating and changing costumes and all the things. So you want to make sure that this turns into no longer liquid. She has dry skin, so I'm not gonna do a lot, but I'm gonna do the heaviest underneath the eyes, and the T-zone, which I think we all know is this little area here where you're gonna be the most oily. And this is a translucent powder, so if it gets everywhere, it's fine. And then I just use whatever's left over, and I'll go over the whole rest of the face. If you know you have like some oily spots like me, I get really oily around my nose, like down here. Or if you get like a sweaty lip or whatever, I would definitely make sure you like powder in those areas like that. If you know you're gonna be sweaty. I'll bring it down. Okay, this is just gonna help everything sit a little bit better. It's not gonna keep it from coming off, but it'll help. Okay, so then I'll show you the bronzer. So if you do cream, you do this step over top of it. It'll set your cream contour. If you don't, this is just the one step you'll do. Okay, so you can use an angled brush like this. You can use a little like stippling brush like this. You could even use your powder brush and just like squeeze it tight and do that. You don't need to buy 1,000 brushes if you don't want to. Okay, bronzer, I have it on there. My favorite one that's drugstore is Morphe, because it's huge. It's like this big, and it'll last you forever. I wanna say it's like 10 bucks. I don't know exactly how much it is. This is a Hoola, in case you're wondering. It's my go-to bronzer. It is a good one. It lasts me forever. They have a bunch of different shades. You guys are all pretty much light, so I'm not that worried. I have a lot of dark people at Bonneville, so I guess you don't have to worry about that. But, okay, you still want to top off with this because you don't want like thick product going onto your face. So same thing, starting at the top of the ear. And I'm just gonna go down. You don't wanna go too far down, because then it's gonna be a real obvious cheekbones going on. We don't want that. Okay, with dance, it's a little bit more bronzer than I would do every day. If you wanna do an everyday, or if we have a close-up performance where you don't really need a lot, I would just blend this and do less product. Obviously, we already did cream contour, that's why it's already dark. Normally, I'd have to go in and do a couple layers if I didn't already do cream contour. Okay, and I like to go back over with my powder brush. If you're using a powder brush for this, you just kind of clean it off, just to kind of blend it a little bit so it's not so heavy. Okay, and then we're gonna go up above here into the hairline. Use whatever's left over on the brush, like if we already did the heaviest part of the product at the top, use whatever's left over and kind of blend it down a little bit so you don't just have like a big old line. Okay, and then under here, I'm gonna blend down into the neck. I don't know if you can tell, but just right here, if you can see the like shape, go and turn your face this way. It's showing the shape of her jawline a little bit better. Just more flattering. Go ahead and look forward. And then if for some reason, like if you know your dance neckline goes lower or something, you can go a little bit lower if it's darker than, if it's too much darker. And it will be a little bit darker because it's a bronzer, it's meant to be darker than the rest of the face to sculpt it. This next step you don't have to do, I would suggest you do because it brings color to the face more, or center of the face. But you can use an eyeshadow brush. In fact, that's what I'll do because it'll be easier. It says shimmer, so I'm gonna. You can use eyeshadow brush. They have little nose contour brushes if you really want to get fancy. But most of these little brushes, I think they have a super, like little one that's e.l.f. It's like $1 or $2 if you need like a really cheap one. Okay, and I'm just gonna go down the center of the nose and a little bit underneath. This is just gonna give the center of the face a little bit more color. That way it's not just like white and then dark around the edges. Okay. Then, my next step, it talks on there, you can use an eyeshadow. You can use the same shimmer eyeshadow you used on her eyes. I'm gonna use an actual highlighter. In fact, this is a good drugstore one. It's called Milani. Get it at Walmart, Target, Ulta, all those 3 places, okay? This is, in case you wanna know, this is Strobe Light, shade Strobe Light. It's like a whitish pink one. Super light because she's got really light skin. If you're more tan, you can go for a darker one. This blending's gonna bug me. Okay. So this is a little baby fluffy brush. You can use a powder brush. You can use your contour brush. You can use eyeshadow brush. Whatever you want to use. I'm just using this size one. Okay, and we're gonna go up above where we just contoured. This is just up above your cheekbones. This is to give some dimension in the face. So I don't know if you can tell the difference, but it's gonna brighten everything, and when you're dancing especially, it's gonna make everything just look clean and pretty, and it's just flattering. Okay, and then I also take this, and I can do a little bit on the chin. These are just the high points of the face, if you're wondering. Cupid's bow, which is right above the lip. And I even take my finger, and we're gonna go down the center of the nose. I'm gonna blend it a little bit. And then I like to use the same stuff on the inner corners of the eyes. And even up, I got one that, even up here underneath the brow bone. Use the same brush. Oh, and if you have like, especially open people, this is a good thing to know. If you have a lowerish neckline, or even just enough that your collarbones are showing, if you put highlight or like shimmer eyeshadow on your collarbones even, or just like all over your chest just a little bit, it looks really good. That's just an extra thing you don't have to do. But I do it on my brides all the time too. Okay, blush. You can use whatever blush. You can go into your mom's makeup kit, whatever. I would suggest some type of like pinky-ish. I wouldn't do super red. I don't think you should do like a neon pink. This one's okay, I guess, but it's still pretty bright. This one, so this shade, this is actually Morphe. I think I got this for free. I don't know where I got it. You can get any blush, Maybelline. One of my favorite drugstore ones, though, I don't think I put it on there, is this same brand as this. It's called Milani. It's shaped like a rose, and it is super pretty. And you can get ones with shimmer, or you can just get matte ones. This has a shimmer. And then go ahead and smile for me. This is gonna show the apples of your cheeks, which is where you're gonna apply it. So it's gonna be right here, and it's gonna blend up into where we bronzed, and then up to where we highlighted as well. I guess with dance we need a little bit more color than what I would normally do. And then sometimes we'll even go a little on the nose and up here, make it look more natural, because our natural skin has a little bit more flushed color to it. Okay, then, oh, brows. Like my mirror that's nasty. My favorite brow stuff, I use it on myself every day, it's called NYX Lift and Snatched. This is a drugstore one. This is a little, it's like almost like an eyeliner pen. And the reason why I like it is because I can do natural brow strokes. But that might be a little hard if you're not used to doing many brows. So, brow pencil, any type of brow pencil works. This is NYX, this is what I keep in my kit. These little brow pencils, they have a spoolie on the end, so you can comb your brows if you want. Or you can use a pomade if you're fancy. If you guys don't know what a pomade is, it's like this. Okay, nice. People dancing by. Okay, for her, what shade is this? Make sure you guys know your natural shade. Like if your mom has dark hair and you don't, and you just go to borrow it from her kit, or her makeup, just keep in mind, try to do it as close to your natural hair color, or like if you have darker roots like I do, then the other part of your hair, go for the darkest part of your hair. But don't go like crazy dark either. But with dance, you can get away with darker eyebrows. Okay, this is the color I'm gonna do. So for her, I'm gonna show you guys what you can do with like, if you have, you can even use a brown, like an eyeshadow. Okay, I'm gonna show you with a pomade, just to, I'll do half and half. So in case you have a certain way you wanna do it. So my little angled brush I used for black eyeshadow to do her eyelash line. I'm gonna use that same brush. I'm just gonna wipe off those black, especially because she does not have black hair. Okay, so for pomade, the easiest way for eyebrows is you do your natural eyebrow shape. People like to go crazy and do a brand new little thing. It's not natural. Your eyebrow hair grows in the natural way of your eye shape because everyone has different shapes. Follow your natural one. If you have weird scars or if you like over plucked or something and have crazy stuff going on, obviously you can fix it, but I'm just gonna use her natural eyebrow shape. So if I'm gonna do a pomade or even a pencil, I'll comb up all these hairs first. This is gonna help show the natural line of her eyebrows. So I'll do the bottom line with this and I'll show you guys how I do my other product. Okay, and I'm just gonna go across that natural shape of her eyebrow. Nothing fancy. Okay, and then with like the least amount of product you wanna do at the front. You don't wanna do like block eyebrows where they're the same all the way across. Okay, you can, but that's not how I'd suggest to do it. You wanna do, I try to mimic like real hair strokes. So I would just go in like this. And I'll continue to fill in like that. In fact, I'll do this eyebrow this way and then do the other one the other way. Okay, oh yeah, I didn't teach this part. Then if I comb it down, if you can see, she has this little natural curve going on. So I'm just gonna follow it. Fill it in. Now I'm gonna comb them back to straight so I can see where we're missing little spots. Okay, nothing too crazy. So this other side, hopefully it's the same color. This is this little pen thing I was talking to you about.
If you're a beginner, the pens are,
They're hard.
you gotta practice.
Yes. But I like the pens because this is a different color than the other ones, so I'm gonna have to fill in with our other one. But, and then you can always go through with your little sponge and fix up any unclean lines. And you guys know your own brow shape, you'll get good at it. You'll go, okay, I know how to do this eye is wonky, this eye is, you'll know how to do it. But brows are important because they're gonna show your facial expression, especially with dance. you want to see your brows, okay? Even if you have dark eyebrows, I would still do at least a little bit of filling in.
And calm down if they're dark.
Yes, yes. And I'm gonna use this little spoolie just to comb out. Good enough. Sisters, not twins, or cousins, however it ends up turning out. Okay, so then with dance, I like to, I know, excuse you. Okay, ooh, oh, I do have it. Okay, with dance, I like to do on the waterline. If you don't like that dark of eyes, don't think you have to do it all the time, but especially for performances. This NYX one. NYX is my go-to. If you ever just like, I don't know what drugstore brand, NYX is my favorite. If it says gel, they go on easier than like a eyeliner pencil, but you can use an eyeliner pencil. I think it's just harder. I'll just use this one. This is a fancy one. It's Marc Jacobs. It's expensive. If you want a fancy one, there you go. Okay. So NYX, make sure you have like a sharpener with you whenever, or like in your makeup kit, because if stuff breaks, it's just, you don't want poking in your eye. You guys know what the waterline is, right? Okay, yeah. I know, it's the worst. And then it kind of will pull down that little, mess up that area a little bit. I know it's worse for you. When you're doing it on yourself, it's a lot easier. Okay, if you notice on her, she's starting to crease a little bit under her eyes. I'm just gonna fix that up.
A long day of competition, check that throughout the day.
Yes, yes, yes. She's a little blinky, so we'll have to thin it up a little bit, but. And then powder, I'm just gonna go in with that powder.
You can't stop blinking while still stabbing or something in your eye.
Have you guys heard of like baking? Don't do it. Because I'll tell you what. Okay, so baking is when you take your powder and you just like on the face, and I've seen a lot of makeup artists, like viral makeup artists, whatever, or just people who do their makeup, they do like heavy under the eyes and then they do down here and down the nose. The reason why they do it is to kind of show more sculpting, and they'll leave it for a second before they blend it. Don't, because the skin has natural texture. You don't see that on camera, but in real life, your skin has texture. Okay, we can't blur that out and put a filter in real life. Okay, so you just want barely enough that it sits on the top of the skin. You don't want it to like define all of the texture in your skin. It's not gonna look good. It's gonna look more fake. I mean, it's makeup. We know it's not our real skin. But we don't want it to look even worse. So don't put a ton of powder on, especially if you have dry skin. It just doesn't look right. Okay, so with under the eyes, I'm gonna use this one again. You can use, I would suggest getting something like this. So they have like little mini smudge brushes that are easier. But this is just what I brought, so I tried to bring like the bare minimum. I'm just gonna use black. Go ahead and look up front. And I'm just gonna go underneath the eye. Because with dance, we are gonna look like little warriors, I guess, if you will. I don't know. But that's the hard part about black, is it's gonna get everywhere. Of course, that's what I do. I gotta fix it, hold on. This is why you do your eyes first. No, I just didn't dust it off enough. I would normally go through and do a little bit cleaner, but I don't want her to she's already been having to do enough. Okay, so waterproof. Please get waterproof for dance. I do not suggest waterproof for every day. It damages your lashes. It's not good for them. Don't do it. My mom does it. It drives me nuts. She's like, why cry a lot? I'm like, okay. So, you sweat and dance. You have costume changes. Okay, so waterproof eyeliner or mascara. L'Oreal is a good one. This is voluminous. I think it's called Carbon Black. Yep. Waterproof. You can use whatever mascara. Mascara is one of the #1 products that you can use as cheap as you want, and chances are it looks the same. Okay, I'm using disposable spoolies on her because I use this for all my clients. So I don't want to cross-contaminate, but obviously use your own mascara. Don't share.
I have those too. I have.
Okay. Don't share mascara ever, ever, ever. Okay, go in the gut. So I'm just going to, with her natural lashes and your natural lashes, you'll just comb those little lashes up into your false ones. Just gonna blend them, make them look a little bit more natural. And then of course a little bit on the bottom as well. Not a lot because it already has black going on. Okay, then for lip, is this the color we're doing for everyone?
Yes, it's Lip Sense Blue Red, or some of you have the Mary Kay. That was a limited edition, but it's the same color.
Wait, what lipstick's that?
Yes, so if you don't have a Lip Sense person, we can order it together. The assistant dance coach sells it. I think she would give us a deal.
Mary Kay has those things?
Please do not use lipstick. Please, 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 I beg of you.
No
It
lipstick.
ruins my costumes when you're changing, and the bright red is super hard to get out, and some of the costumes really can't be washed. Please do not use lipstick.
If you were doing like competition or something where we're not matching, or if you want to use,
If you have your
For
own
something
costumes,
else?
sure.
yeah, I would suggest getting like a lip stain, like liquid one.
They have some new cool ones out. I haven't tried them, but
My favorite, I think it's good to splurge with a lip because they last you forever, is Anastasia Beverly Hills has a liquid lipstick, or it's this brand actually. Yeah, liquid lipstick. Love it. It'll stay. A good way to test it is you can take like a paper towel and dab off that first layer, and if it still stays pretty good, it's a good bet it'll stay throughout the day. Don't do lipstick unless it's like a dance or something, because it gets everywhere and it like bleeds. If you guys know what that means, it like leaves your natural lip line and it looks like you have make-out lips. If you know what that means either. Okay.
They don't know
You don't
that.
know what that means.
No, they don't.
Okay. The giggles over here. Okay. So, don't you have to have like a base for this? You don't? I thought you had to have like a base.
No, and I usually have some applicators so we don't share.
I have some.
This is my applicator bag. They're gone.
That's like these things that you.
I really try not to share, and I do share this, but if you spray it with alcohol, supposedly that.
I use fancy dance. I get it off of Amazon, but they sell them at like everywhere, I think.
I also have like applicators. We to restock
This
it.
one's like, doesn't have a ton in it, but that's good.
This is what I have, it's not super high pigmented for the teen kit. Sometimes if you add a little water to your applicator, it will make it darker.
These stress me out though, cause like, once they're on, I feel like they're on.
Yeah, this is almost easier to do yourself. But if you trace your lip line, don't do it like lipstick or lip gloss. You kind of
I'll
like
show you.
dry it on, like she was doing with the eyeliner and the eyebrows. Kind of do the same thing for your lips with lip stain. You might want to practice with this. And it's okay to go over your lip, like I have skinny
Like
lips.
overline, yeah.
Yeah, go over a little bit.
If you do though, make sure you practice,
And don't do it very much, or you just look like,
like you've had like
plastic
yeah.
surgery yesterday.
lip injections.
Okay, when you first use it, it might burn a little bit. I use it every day and it doesn't dry, or, I don't use it every day, but I use it almost every day. I love this stuff. No. Well, you know. Never use that part. I often do.
I need new. Yeah, this is like
Well,
both
I
empty.
don't really see your lips, so if there's a little color,
We're just like, lip stain on it. And she was like, give it a second. I was like, give it a second. And then I was like, what the heck is that? Yeah, from being used over there.
I'm sure you can find something close, but like she said, splurge on your lips, don't go chintzy.
You don't want cheap because it bleeds and it looks off, especially with dance when you're moving all the time. Okay, I am gonna say before you go to do a like competition or something, performance, please practice a full face before, because if you're used to taking you like 15-30 minutes to do your makeup and all of a sudden it's gonna take you a little bit longer till you get it down. Me, I can do a full face, probably 15 minutes, 10-15 minutes, but it could take an hour, 2 hours, maybe 3. So practice, okay, make sure you know your time. Also, know if your products that you buy are gonna work. So don't go buying like some eyeshadow that's like gonna take you forever to put on because it's really cheap or something. Make sure you practice it, or make sure that it's gonna work for your skin color, all the things, okay? Don't wait till the day of a performance. And like I said, you can even do like a little party with your teammates if you wanna like share makeup. Okay, if you want to meet at someone's house and you guys all just do makeup, help each other out, please do it, okay? If you absolutely need help too before performances and stuff, call or text me. I can bring my stuff if I need to, okay? Yeah, that's kind of the gist of everything. Do you guys have questions?
So the only thing that
You
we
guys,
need,
this is red blue, taking a picture, I don't know.
so the only thing we need specific is the red blue, right?
Yes. Everything else you can buy
If
your
somebody
own
wants a
brand.
dot on your paper, if you think you have something that might match, a dot.
Sure.
But like I
Make sure
said,
it's lip stain. There is cheaper stuff, I haven't tried it.
I've used the
Yes.
Cover Girl and that works
The
really well.
cream one?
Once it
Anybody
dries.
else want a dot?
Oh, for you, I would do fair or for eyebrows. Yeah. So, do you want to like a pomade or do you want to do a pencil?
Oh, okay.
gel that I can over brush it up.
Uh-huh.
Pumps up, let that dry a little bit and go over this one, just kind of over the edge.
Yeah.
Since that, but
It depends on what you want to do. If you want a pomade, Anastasia is good to use. And any of the benefit brows, all of their stuff is great too. If you want to put one piece, or if you want cheaper nails too, their eyebrow pencils, or if you want to try
Yeah, that's so pretty. Are you done?
you can. Yes, we'll take a picture.
Okay, I do want to say one thing. Everybody give Olivia a hand. Thanks for being here. As a judge, let me tell you the judge perspective. The thing I see, the biggest mistake I see with dance makeup is it often looks really cold and mean sometimes. So make sure you get it warmed up with, like she did the highlighter, the bright lipstick, she did the little gold flecks in there. Make sure you add some warmth in it, because as a judge, I feel like, especially like open stuff,
Yes.
it makes you feel more in than if you're bright and open. That shouldn't make a big difference, but to me as a judge, the really harsh, just black and white stuff it's just cold. But anyway, we're done early. So guess what? I have assignments that you guys have to write. I need a couple things to put in my
Yes.
card. Yes. Just now.
If you want to do it.